Perhaps it does not matter so very much what one loves in this world. Of course, there was always my little house and the garden, but for some reason they were never enough. Flowers respond wonderfully, but they don't sympathize. Then I loved the evening star. Does that sound ridiculous? I used to go into the backyard after sunset and wait for it until it shone above the dark gum tree. I used to whisper, "There you are, my darling." And just in that first moment, it seemed to be shining for me alone. It seemed to understand this something which is like longing, and yet it is not longing, or regret. It is more like regret. But after he came into my life, I forgot the evening star. When the Chinaman who came to the door with birds to sell held him up in his tiny cage, and instead of fluttering like the poor little goldfinches, he gave a faint, small chirp, I found myself saying, just as I had said to the star over the gum tree, "There you are, my darling." From that moment he was mine. It surprises even me now to remember how he and I shared each other's lives. I hung him on the nail outside while I got my 3 young men their breakfasts, and I never brought him in to do his cage until we had the house to ourselves again. Then, when the washing up was done, it was quite a little entertainment. I spread a newspaper over a corner of the table, and when I put the cage on it, he used to beat with his wings despairingly, as if he didn't know what was coming. "You're a regular little actor," I used to scold him. I scraped the tray, dusted it with fresh sand, filled his seed and water tins, tucked a piece of chickweed and half a chilli between the bars, and I am perfectly certain he understood and appreciated every item of this little performance. When I'd finished the house in the afternoon and changed my blouse and brought my sewing onto the veranda here, he used to hop, hop, hop from one perch to the other, tap against the bars as if to attract my attention, sip a little water, just as a professional singer might, and then break into a song so exquisite that I had to put my needle down to listen to him. I can't describe it. I wish I could. I sometimes hear the next people saying, "There must have been a cage hanging from there." And it comforts me. You cannot imagine how wonderfully he sang. It was not like the singing of other canaries, and that isn't just my fancy. I used to see people stop at the gate to listen, or they would lean over the fence by the mock orange for quite a long time, carried away. Company, you see. That was what he was. Perfect company. If you have lived alone, you will realize how precious that is. People have the idea that birds are heartless, cold little creatures, not like dogs or cats. My washerwoman used to say every Monday when she wondered why I didn't keep a nice fox terrier, "There's no comfort missing a canary." Untrue. Dreadfully untrue. I remember one night I had a very awful dream. Dreams can be terribly cruel. Even after I'd woken up, I could not get over it. So I put on my dressing gown and came down to the kitchen for a glass of water. It was a winter night and raining hard. I suppose I was half asleep still, but through the kitchen window that hadn't a blind, it seemed to me the dark was staring in, spying. And then there came a little sweet, sweet. His cage was on the table and the cloth had slipped so that a chink of light shone through. Sweet, sweet, said the darling little fellow again, softly, as much as to say, I'm here, missus, I'm here. That was so beautifully comforting that I nearly cried. And now he's gone. When I found him lying on his back with his eye dim and his claws wrung, when I realized that never again should I hear my darling sing, something seemed to die in me. My breast felt hollow, as if it was his cage. I shall get over it, of course. I shall never have another bird, another pet of any kind. How could I?